Hello and welcome back to another Ninja Woodfire cooking video. So today you can see I have already got the prep started. I've got two sets of tongs because we've been handling some raw meat, which is there in the background. So we've got chicken legs, our trusty chicken legs, and chicken drumsticks, which have been marinated in a very special recipe. So essentially a few different bottles of marinades that we had left over. So I try to get as prepared beforehand as possible so that I can enjoy the cooking, because that's what it's all about, is being able to cook outdoors. So all you've missed is that we are currently on the preheat function. I say that just as it skips over to add food. So if you're not familiar with the process, then you can use the dial on the front to decide which function you're going to use. And if you're familiar with my videos, then that is quite often the grill function, which is preset to 15 minutes. So it's been through the ignition process that heats the smoker, and it's been through the preheat function that heats the grill, so that what you can see there is as I place that meat on, it's already starting to sizzle away nicely. So quite a lot here, I think maybe overbought. So a bit of mid-afternoon shopping on a bank holiday. It'd be rude not to overdo it a little bit, but it will give us a good indication of the cooking area. So we've got some good sized chicken legs on there. What I don't want to do is overcrowd the grill too much so that the meat doesn't cook unevenly, but I'd prefer to get everything on at once if I possibly can, just for ease. No great shakes if cook them separately, because we're not going to eat this much meat in one cook. And actually this is more than just one meal, so this is cooking for 3. But I thought what I would do is get everything cooked, and then we've got some delicious chicken for another meal. Because if you haven't already, if you're not familiar with the channel, most of it is Ninja Woodfire cooking videos. There's quite a lot of varied content on there. I also have been branching out into slightly different areas. So I had a holiday to Bournemouth in the UK, week there, where I captured some of the bits that I really enjoyed. If you're interested in Bournemouth, hopefully that's useful. And we went to Ministry of Sound Classical here where we live, and that was amazing as well. So yeah, I captured a little bit of footage whilst I was there, and I've uploaded that to the channel as well. But as I say, most of it is the cooking content, the Ninja Woodfire grill and its use. I am aware that I'm going to need to find something to kind of fill that gap as the winter draws in. So if you've got any suggestions or comments, then please do add them to the channel. I look at all of them and respond to all of them. So yeah, any suggestions of what you'd like to see. I know that's different for different people, but if there's something there that I could do, that would really help me out. As would subscribing, as always. So there we go, we did manage to get all the meat on. There was a bit of a shuffle around there, and we managed to get the lids down. So the preset is the 15 minutes, and I don't think that's going to be enough for that amount of meat on there. So smoker's doing its business there quite nicely. So full hopper of those pellets that have already been preheated with the ignition button. And as I say in most videos, if you want to boost that, you can press that lovely woodfire button at any point during your cook, because the smoker's heated separately from the grill. So if at any point it looks like those pellets are starting to die down, then just press it. And as you can see, I've done lasso there, and it prompts me that it's an ignition process, and you've got the little flame symbol there, whilst the cook carries on, and you can see the countdown there in the background. So I think with this one, because of the sheer amount of meat that we've put on there, so you can, I'm just going to show you very quickly the filament in there, if it's not lit just yet, but you can already see that it's boosted the smoke. And we are halfway through our cook, which of course means that the Ninja's going to prompt us to flip over the chicken. So let's see how we're getting on. So I think the first thing I'd say there is, although it's taking on some smoky colour, I think the grill is very, very full, and the meat is not as cooked as we would normally expect. So ordinarily we're only cooking probably 6 of those chicken legs, and that's, you know, distributed quite evenly around the grill so that it all gets a bit of a going over, so to speak. But I could see straight away, even through the eye, that there's a lot of translucent meat on there. Albeit, I know we're only halfway through the cook, but I do think we're going to need more than the 15-minute preset, which is fine because we've got a couple of other grill functions available to us, so we can kind of let this do its thing for the preset, and then we'll decide where we go from there. So apologies for the filming, because I'm flipping and filming at the same time, but you can see that we got a lovely bit of colour on the skin, but also it is starting to stick a little bit, which is unusual because this is a non-stick surface. So I think with hindsight I probably wouldn't have put this all on in one go, but it is still going to be delicious. Marinates, of course, the sauces are going to be really high in sugar content, so that will caramelise, which is good because it gives us the charred flavour, but it can also mean that it can stick to the grill. So rubs, things like that. Probably if you've got a bit more prep time, what I tend to do is I'm just using the barbecue for everyday use mostly, so most of what I'm doing is really simple. So there'll be maybe a little bit of a rub or some seasoning or a marinade on the meat. It is nice every now and again though to do like a good old-fashioned smoke, where you just let it do what it's designed to do for a good few hours. And I'll put a recent-ish video up of doing that with a pork shoulder, which is actually just from frozen, so if you get a chance, take a look at that. So we've managed to get most of it flipped over. It's a bit of a juggling act to get everything on the grill so that the lid will shut. I did go with the tongs that I used, obviously wash them before I use them again. Although the chicken is not cooked, it's not necessarily raw, and hygiene is paramount, so just a bit more of a close-up on there. So it is taking on some colour. We are only halfway through the cook, so we're not expecting to see too much there. But as you can see, it's a bit crammed on there. They're kind of fighting for space. So what I would say as well, going back to what I said earlier, it could look really wasteful, this, that I've said I'm cooking for 3 people and I've put this amount of meat on, so it will be more than one meal. And these particular cuts of meat, if you like, what we get these because they're relatively inexpensive. So we're UK based, and the chicken drumsticks that you saw, I won't mention the supermarket that we bought them from, but they were somewhere in the region of £2, and the chicken legs were just a little bit more, about £2.50. So a lot of meat there for the price. Obviously that's not, you've got the bones in there, which is great for flavour, it can make it a bit trickier to eat, but you got lots of options there. So I could have breaded them, I could have floured them a little bit, but as you can see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of that lovely marinade that we made. It's a secret recipe only because I cannot remember what's in it, and I didn't make it actually, so that probably explains why. My partner made it, and delicious it is. So I'm not sure we're going to make our fortune immediately like the good Colonel, but I can assure you that it will be delicious. So back onto the grill function. 16 minutes, as we expected, wasn't going to be enough for the cook, and so we're going to give it that extra time. And then I think what I'm going to do is, again, comments are useful for me for other reasons, is that someone recommended going on to the air fry function just to give that extra crispy boost. So there you can see, oddly, I restarted the grill function, but I can't boost the smoker, so I can only assume that's because it's already smoking away there. But yeah, this is going to be a pivot job. So plan B, because of the sheer amount of chicken that we got on there, and we do want to make sure it's cooked, is that we're going to whip out the old crisper basket and use an air fry function. So that air fry function is going to be a high heat, low cook time, and it's going to give us that extra bit of colour that we need. Which, through the magic of editing, so I'm editing this afterwards, I made a bit of a dog's dinner of that bit. So what we'll see is you'll see it skip forward to the finished product. Like so. So I did, common sense kicked in at some point late on, albeit, and we just separated the meat and put it in the air fryer, which got us exactly what we were looking for. So thanks for the comments, and as always I will say thank you very much to everybody that watches the video, and see you in the next one.